Hello everyone! The Burning Legion has invaded Azeroth once again, and the monks, they were hit hard at the peak of Serenity, where we shut down the Legion gateway, causing a massive explosion, and we barely made it out alive. We're appointed to be the new leader and take charge of the monks in the war against the Legion, and to aid us, 3 powerful artifacts are waiting to be obtained. For the Brewmaster Monk, it's Fu Zan, the Wanderer's companion. From the beginning, this staff has accompanied legendary creatures and immortal spirits as they carried out important lasting work all across of Azeroth. If the legends are true, its power will be essential to our cause, and they believe that the staff possessed by the Monkey King, that this could be the fabled Fu Zan. The problem is that nobody has seen the Monkey King with the weapon for over a year. Now he was last spotted at Xian Monastery, so we quickly talk with Tuk Tuk, the Hosen Kite Master, and we fly out to have a chat with the Monkey King.
We could come to ask a thing? What does you want from Monkey King?
The Hosen will not hand over their staff that easily, and he offers us 3 riddles which we must solve. Or, they would be riddles if we didn't actually have markers on the map telling us exactly where we need to go. So off we go, killing some enemies, picking up some ingredients. And as we do that, let's dive into the history of this weapon and discover how it came into the hands of the Monkey King. Long ago, Keeper Freya sculpted an ethereal plane of existence called the Emerald Dream to act as a guide for Azeroth's natural life. She crafted and planted one tree near the powerful energy of the Veil of Eternal Blossom. It grew strong and tall, drinking deeply from the Veil's resonant power. More trees arose around it. Lush forests, both in the dream and in the waking world, they sprang to life across the region. Keeper Freya named this tree Fu Zan, and she shaped one of its branches into a walking stick to accompany her on the long journeys. Now, in the early days of Azeroth's revival, natural life flourished strongly in the enclaves where the Keeper Freya did her most intense work. A small number of exceptional wild animals grew far beyond expectations, showing such remarkable power that they would soon be known as the Wild Gods. Each of these beings had a different personality, but Freya noticed that 4 in particular, they shared a deep commitment to peace and wisdom. These 4, a serpent, an ox, a crane and a tiger, they had gathered near the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. Freya knew that their compassion would aid the region well, and they would be called the August Celestials by the inhabitants of Pandaria. One day, Freya came to the Celestials with concern in her heart. There was a great darkness in the north, she told them, and she believed that a confrontation was near. She gave them her staff for safekeeping. If I do not see you again, return this staff to Azeroth, to one of its children, she said. Give it to someone who loves battle and loves peace. Freya sadly never returned. Yulan, the Jade Serpent, she vowed to keep the staff safe. For thousands of years, even during the dark reign of the Mogul Empire, she did just that. In the south, near the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, many new creatures arose, forming tribes, villages, and even empires. There were the Jinyu, the Pandaren, the Hosen, and several others. Yulan suspected that if Fu Zan would pass on to one of these beings, it would go to the Jinyu or Pandaren. Surely the Hosen, they were far too violent to be trusted with such a gift. They were often selfish and short-sighted, unable to work together long enough to build a proper civilization of their own. But as time passed, Yulan questioned her assumptions. There were different forms of wisdom and courage, were there not? It was easy to see these short-lived, short-tempered Hosen as troublemakers, but they lived full, wild lives in the years that they had. Yulan felt Fu Zan beginning to awaken. It needed a new companion. The Jade Serpent knew that soon she would honor Freya's wishes and allow a worthy mortal to carry the weapon. She was becoming certain that it needed to be given to a Hosen. Give it to someone who loves battle and loves peace. Freya's words became clear the moment Yulan laid eyes upon one exceptional Hosen who called himself the Monkey King. Long ago, only a few years before the War of the Ancients, he had become the leader of an ungovernable people. He had risen to power without spilling a single drop of blood, and he was beloved by every Hosen tribe. How had he done this? After all, Hosen fought endlessly, constantly, for the simplest reasons. Any disagreement meant physical violence. The Monkey King was well aware of this, so he told the Hosen tribes, I am the Monkey King. Your tribe supports me with all its heart. That was all. When a single Hosen would question him, he would tell them that their tribe's leader had already agreed to it. No Hosen wanted to challenge the leader on a whim and be in a fight, so they declared, you are the Monkey King. When the tribe leaders learned his name, all of their subjects were already calling him the Monkey King, and they were confused, but they did not want to fight their own people, so they did not challenge him either. The Monkey King's wild claim, his lie, eventually became true because nobody dared to disagree. Soon enough, tribal fightings had ceased, the Monkey King passed judgment on all disputes, and the Hosen obeyed. The Jade Serpent could see the Monkey King's motivation. It was simple. He disliked the sight of blood. At the most fundamental level, this was a creature who loathed battle and loved peace. And from that, he had achieved what no other Hosen ever had. Yulan needed to know how deep the Monkey King's cleverness ran, so she visited him in disguise. All the Monkey King could see was another Hosen, but this one did not call him king or bow before him. He demanded that she showed him respect. Instead, the newcomer asked him a riddle, telling him that a true king would have no trouble answering it. He snapped out the correct answer in seconds. She gave him another. He answered again. On and on they went for 3 days and 3 nights. The Monkey King grew enraged, but even in his anger, he continued to answer her questions, and Yulan was convinced. Violence and tyranny were not in the Monkey King's nature, or he would have tried to shut her up with force long ago. She revealed her true form, which caused considerable chaos in that Hosen village, and she presented him with Fu Zan. The Jade Serpent told him the story of Freya and how the staff had come to be. Then she warned him that she sensed one day his cleverness would not be enough to stop evil. When the day came, he would need to act decisively. And the Monkey King did not believe her, but he did think that the staff was very pretty, so he accepted it gladly. With Fu Zan in his grasp, the Monkey King's authority over the Hosen became absolute. He could bend like a willow in the wind, avoid any blow from a challenger to the throne. The staff was as light as a feather, and yet anyone who tried to steal it, they found that it could not lift it an inch. It was his. No one else was allowed to wield it, but there was a serious problem with Fu Zan. To look regal while carrying it, the monkey needed to use 2 hands. This meant that he had no free hand for his most prized possession, a small keg that he always kept filled with brew. An easy enough problem to solve. The Monkey King had 2 metal bands added to the end of Fu Zan, and there he hung his keg. Luckily, the staff was not permanently damaged. Now over time, the Monkey King would become fast friends with a young Pandaren prince named Xiaohao. The day of Xiaohao's coronation, the new emperor learned that all of the land was at risk of being destroyed by the Burning Legion's first invasion of Azeroth. The Monkey King believed that Yulan's prophecy had come to pass. This was the day that he needed to face evil directly. He declared that he would stay by Xiaohao's side until the end, but fate it seemed had other plans. A great ill wind roared from the east and carried the Monkey King far away. He was blown into the lands of the Demented, and all of his cleverness counted for nothing there. He was helpless, about to die at their hands, when Xiaohao came to the rescue. The Monkey King was enraged, but the Demented were not his enemy. Xiaohao reminded him that the Burning Legion was the true threat. And in the end, it was not violence that saved the peoples of Pandaria. Xiaohao released his spirit to the land, shrouding it in mist and protecting it from the destruction of the Sundering. The Monkey King went home and hurled Fu Zan into the river in a fit of rage. His friend had vanished, and the Monkey King had seemingly failed Yulan's prophecy. Eventually, he went to the river to retrieve the staff, but only because those waters, they were sacred for Jinyu tribe, and they could not remove it themselves since it was far too heavy. It still belonged to the Monkey King. Now after the Sundering, Pandaria was isolated from the rest of the world, the Emperor was gone, and there would never be another. Some believed that all the other lands had been destroyed with the Sundering. Others wanted to explore the world beyond the mist, and a few wanted to claim Pandaria for themselves, and they wanted to claim it with force. Not much has been written of this brief surge of would-be tyrants. Very few Pandarian denizens were harmed by any of them. Whether they were Mogul warlords, or fringe Hosen tribes, or even brutal Yongul raiders, none of them ever launched a true campaign of conquest. Before they could, they were always approached by a mysterious Hosen who would chatter endlessly about an hidden cache of artifacts that had granted him untold power. He could also demonstrate miracles, since no weapons could touch him, no matter how many combatants tried to attack. It was very convincing. These ambitious, greedy beings would eagerly follow the Monkey King's directions. Sometimes they would simply walk off a cliff, sometimes they would find themselves ambushed by Shadowpan. In any case, their story always came to a quick end, and the Monkey King would stride away, Fu Zan resting easily across his shoulders. The Monkey King had never had such fun. Turning evil beings into stumbling fools became his most cherished pastime for years. He saw it as his way of honoring his old friend Xiaohao, who now watched over the land but could no longer protect Pandaria's people directly. But just as Yulan had told him, his cleverness would one day not be enough to defeat evil. A Mogu, called the Jade Warlord, had followed the Monkey King's directions, traveling deep into a tomb beneath Kunlai. But rather than finding nothing, as the host had expected, the Jade Warlords actually found an ancient cache of knowledge written by the Thunder King Lei Shen. In the warlord's hands, it would grant him terrible, awful power, and the Monkey King knew that he had made a mistake, and as the ground began to shake, he knew that there was no time for anyone else to stop the Mogu. He took Fu Zan with him, and he went into the tomb to deal with his problem directly. He loathed violence, he detested it, but he also knew that he was the only one who could oppose the Jade Warlord before it was too late. The two of them dueled beneath Kunlai for hours. For years, Fu Zan had been an aid to the Monkey King's mischief that proved to be an excellent practice for avoiding the powerful lethal magic that the Mogu soon unleashed. The Monkey King believed that he would not leave the tomb alive that day, and indeed he did not, but he was not killed. The Jade Warlord had no command of his new power, and an errant spell did what neither of them expected. It froze them both in jade. They remained there, locked in battle for almost 10,000 years, all the while able to communicate. That must have been a fate worse than death for the Mogu. Once the Monkey King was freed by adventurers 10,000 years later, he traveled to the Timeless Isle to watch the August Celestials teach the champions of Azeroth. They taught them lessons in strength, endurance, courage and wisdom. After some time had passed, the Monkey King sensed that his travels with Fu Zan that they were nearing their end. So he traveled to the Temple of Yulan and he passed the staff back into her care so that one day it can again be given up to another who is worthy to wield it. And that other will hopefully be us, as we finished up with the Monkey King's riddles and we're ready to put the collected materials to good use.
Put the pot on the fire's heart, then the Wicked's trial can start. Get moving, Wicked, let the trial begin. Making sweet hose and slurp is the way you can win. The pot's getting hotter. Add a wee splash of water. Looking good, you. Smelling good, too. That brew, it smells a little plain. Wicked, add a pinch more grain. Yup, that's the ticket. Keep it up, clever Wicked. The flavor's improving, but it needs strong scent too. Open the keg and add smelly brew. Good going, Wicked. You know how to pick it. Time for the Wicked to add the next mixin'. Toss in a banana, that'd be the right fixin'. Good going, Wicked. You know how to pick this hose and brew be just the thing. Its taste be fit for the Monkey King!
We do what monks do best. We brew him some beer, and the Monkey King tells us that the staff was a gift from the Jade Serpent, and they return it to her. So if we want to own it, we'll have to ask the August Celestial herself.
Whatever happened to this place? It put sad look on Wicked's face.
Help, masters! Demons are ransacking the temple! The Jade Serpent fights the invaders inside, while we hold the gate for survivors to escape. Several scribes are missing, and I fear the worst. Please, help us.
Yulan's strong as a mountain and quick as a bee, but even a mountain's worn down by the sea. These walls right here look easy to climb. Jade Serpent's the one the king go to find.
We're counting on you to rescue our scribes.
Seems that Yulan is a little bit busy at the moment, since the Legion has set their eyes on the temple and they're out in force. We go around saving the lives of a couple of scribes, we kill some demons here and there, and we even defeat Belfiar, who was about to devour Priestess Summer Petal.
Another mind to feed on.
Poor Lord Walker Stonestep. He did not have it easy for these last few years. First, his stories came to life, and now he lost his at the hands of Belfiar.
Oh, my head. Thank you, hero. I would have been that monster's next meal. Oh, Stonestep. Oh, your sacrifice will not be in vain.
Hey, Wicked, come here! Great danger is near. Get moving, Wicked. Yulan be in trouble. Let's get to her side and give aid on the double. Oh, that no look good. Come, Wicked, this way. There's greenies about, but we've no time to play.
I'm coming too.
You should not be here, little ones. The Burning Legion's attacks are relentless. Even I have suffered many wounds.
Jade Serpent taught me, king do what king must. We're not gonna leave you. There's greenies to bust.
Prepare yourself! Our foes are approaching!
Look out! Greenies coming fast! Grook 'em! Make this day their last!
Another group! They can't keep coming forever, can they?
Together with the Monkey King and Priestess Summer Petal, we hold the line against wave after wave of demonic forces until Yulan has regained her strength.
I am renewed! Come, little ones! Let us put an end to this invasion!
Your mortal allies will not help you, little snake. Your doom is at hand!
Heroes, your fight is with Corythus. I'll protect you from his winged monstrosity.
So be it! Come, mortals! Your death awaits!
We now take on Lord Corvus as hellfire rains down from the sky. He tries to snuff out our lives with shadow strikes and consecration on the ground, but in the end, the demon is no match for our combined might.
This changes nothing. Your world will
You have learned well how to fight these creatures, but this will be only one of many battles. This is Fu Zan. Take it. May it shield you in the dark times ahead.
Woohoo, Wicked, that's the way. Groot the Greenies, save the day. The weapon's blessing don't come free. With courage, face your destiny.
Fu Zan has chosen a new companion. Great deeds and great trials await you, little one. For now, you should return home to rest and prepare for what is to come. As a token of my gratitude, allow me to see you home.
And so, Brewmaster Monks obtained Fu Zan, a walking stick for Titan Keeper Freya, who made it into the hands of an extraordinary Hosen, who always did his best to end conflict without spilling a drop of blood. He did his best to protect his people, most of all protect them from themselves, and hopefully in the hands of the monk, Fu Zan will offer the same protection, not only against the force of the Legion, but also their own stupidity as they keep on pulling trash mobs before the tank or the healer are ready. You know who you are, you know who you are! Either way, this is where we'll end the video, so thank you very much for watching everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!